What's your gaming origin story? How did you get your start in role-playing?
Okay, you go first on that one because you are older, so you started first.
Gaming history. I started in 1989 when I bought a translation of Dungeons and Dragons boxed set for back me. I didn't know much about role-playing games at the time. They weren't popular in Portugal. They were never popular in Portugal. They still aren't. And at the time, they were mostly unknown, except for a few people, probably all in Lisbon, I think. And then after that, I didn't play a lot at the time. There wasn't a group, of course, the same reason. It wasn't popular. I tried to find people to play, but there wasn't.
Theoretically, two.
Yes, I had one player. It's still my player after all this time. We were the only people interested in it in our group of friends, and it was difficult to expand that. But basically, it was that. It was 89. It was when I had my first contact, even though it wasn't something that evolved right away. But I can say something more about that. But then,
Well, I'm not gonna say how old I was in 89, so I started way later. Actually, when I discovered role-playing games, I'm not sure how old I was. I was on my late teens, but I didn't have nobody to play with at the time. So I discovered it online, and I thought, wow, this looks really interesting. I would love to play, but I don't have a group. And like Miguel was saying, this is not really popular in Lisbon. I didn't have that much nerd friends at the time. Yes, I'm saying it's a nerd thing, of course. So I first started playing online. So I played a bit, no streaming back then. Play by forum, play by email. It never really worked because at least the campaigns that I played, most of people didn't appear. There was a campaign that was a vampire that was kind of long and steady, but for that one, when I joined, it's already going. It was played by email. So I think in a Yahoo group, I read more than what I actually played. So it was until when I met you that I actually found someone to play with.
We started talking when I was looking for players, even though at the time we didn't really play, but we talked about it just as a theme of conversation. That was long before we actually met in real life. That's something that I did several times in my life, trying to search for people to play. And after people started having social media, it was easier to reach out to people. But even then, there's always that difficulty that well, not anymore, but at the time we were always thinking about playing face to face. So it was easier because on social media you could find people who you could invite to play, but then there was the problem of face to face.
I didn't have a driver's license, so I couldn't move.
So yeah, it never happened. Well, it has happened long after that. But still about role-playing games. Even before I knew about role-playing games, there was something that was kind of popular in Portugal. Those what's it called?
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, but that collection, that particular collection.
Well, yeah, Aventura is fantastic.
Yes, not in Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Fighting Fantasy.
Fighting Fantasy.
The Fighting Fantasy collection, translated to Portuguese, was kind of popular here.
Yeah, I also played that one, and I'm really when I actually that was on a sixth grade. There was a group of 4, me and 3 other girls, and we were like borrowing each other's book. And then later, like, damn it, if I knew role plays existed at the time, I would have a group to play.
Yes, after that, probably people knew about. I still, when I have to explain to people who have no idea what a role playing is, I still talk about those books because more people know about that, even if they didn't play it, but they knew about them, and there was always someone in the family, a brother, a sister, someone that played those books, played those games, books, whatever they are called, game books, and they were kind of a normal thing, not for weird people.
Yeah,
Anybody, well,
weird
weird
people that read
just
books.
yeah, that's just the weirdness. So it's not really weird.
They were
Just
in the supermarket, I remember.
yeah, it was sold everywhere. It was a popular collection. It ended soon, I think. It was just a fashion that, like all fashions, it has its time. Um, and after I had started playing those fighting fantasy books, when I was at school, sometimes me and some other guys would start with, creating situations like a fighting fantasy book, but just improvised at the time. And that was where I started talking about role playing games with that other guy because he knew what they were. And when he saw me improvising those stories with other people, he told me that there are some games that are meant to do that, but at the time it was probably 1 year before the first game was translated to Portugal in Portugal. So, but I was already interested in the concept, I even if I didn't know it existed as a real thing, I was already interested in the concept. And after maybe 1 or 2 years after I purchased the translation, I went to England in holiday. I bought AD&D second edition, very nice books with quality illustrations like never happened again. And after that, I did start playing with other people. We had to find some. There was a store in Lisbon, and then we met other people through that store. One of them was still playing with us a couple of years ago, before COVID. It was that guy that I met at the time, and he had a group. Actually, he had a group in this town, but we didn't know about them. But then we started playing with those guys. But still, it's still a very unknown activity here in
Actually,
the country.
now I know more people that play, people that I know from my work that are used to play. I guess because I'm working in the IT, so there's a lot of
Yeah,
nerdy
probably.
people there.
Yeah,
But
well,
mostly it's D&D and some vampire.
as far as I know, in my job there were no people playing role-playing games. I was a journalist, so I don't think so. Those guys are well. They may know about role-playing games, but as most people who heard about that, they almost immediately connected to computer games.
Mhm.
So probably at this moment, there's more people that know the expression. They think, oh, Skyrim or Fallout, or yeah, those things. Yes. So I guess this is our origin story. Not particularly interesting, probably, but that's it.